So the topic for today's video is the first move into the golf swing, the takeaway. And I'm going to show you the 3 things that you need to avoid in that part of the golf swing in order to play your best golf. So I am once again here at the Forest of Arden, talking to you in this video about the takeaway and specifically 3 things that you need to avoid in your takeaway which can help you play some better golf. These are the common faults that I see plaguing the amateur golfers that come to see me for the lessons. So in today's video you're going to learn how to get the golf club moving away from the golf ball on the correct plane or on the correct path. You're also going to learn how the tempo and the timing of the takeaway can really influence it. And you're also going to learn how to sync up your body and your arms. Now, just before we get started and get into those 3 things, if you're new here, you've just stumbled across this video perhaps, I'd love you to be a free subscriber on my channel. There is a clickable link in the description box below, or there's one at the end of the video as well. But let's get into this video now. Let's show you the first common fault that I see and the first thing that you need to avoid in your takeaway. So very often I will see a golfer taking a pretty orthodox starting position to the golf ball, but as they move the golf club away, a few things often happen. They often make this movement. And there's a few things that are happening there. Number 1, the arms are moving too far away from me. Number 2, the club head is diving too much behind me. And number 3, the club face is opening as well. So it's a real killer for us if we do that in the early part of the takeaway. It is, however, surprising how many golfers make this movement away from the golf ball. So if you feel like this is you, hands out, club in, face open, we would really like to get that sorted. So here's a great little drill and exercise that you can use to help you feel and sense what you should be doing in that early part of the golf swing. You're going to take an alignment stick or something similar, and you're going to hold it just down the golf grip, such as this. Now, when I take my starting position, it's going to feel a little bit strange because I've got this stick down here, but we're not going to hit any shots. It's more of a drill. You'll notice that the stick is in contact with the kind of just left-hand side of my body, just above my belt line. Now, if I make that poor takeaway move, we get those things that we mentioned before, but the stick has moved significantly away from me, and it certainly looks to me as if it's pointing way out to the right of the target. So the contact was lost very, very early on. What we'd love you to feel is that contact remains there for a little while. So as I begin my takeaway, you'll notice that the stick is still in contact with me. My lead arm is probably in the way there, but it is. And then if I can start to use a little bit of wrist set, a little bit of wrist hinge, but not my forearms, that stick will actually start to move down my lead leg towards my knee. Now, it might not ever get towards my knee, but certainly as a feeling, that would really help. So as I move my golf club away, the stick is in contact with me, and then it moves down towards my knee. And what you can see from that down the line camera is that significantly changes the shape of my golf swing. So if we move into that poorer position again, stick is away, and the better movement is the stick moving in contact with me for the first maybe 1.5 to 2 feet, and then moving a little bit more down my knee. So what I'm actually doing there is I'm keeping a little bit more connection between my body and my arms, and I'm starting to use a little bit of wrist set early on rather than too much forearm rotation. That little drill is a great way for you to feel that and understand what actually needs to happen and what needs to move in that early part of the golf swing to make sure that club is moving off to the best possible start. Right, let's move on to number 2 thing that you need to avoid in your takeaway. So the second thing we're going to focus on here is just the relationship between the club, the arms and the body. So what we can actually see happening a little bit is the golf club can actually move into some fairly decent sort of positions relative to the ball and relative to your starting position. But what you'll notice is that this particular movement here is that I've got a lot of flex in my trail arm because I was placing the golf club there with my hands and my arms as opposed to using the rest of my body. So what we can often see very early on in the golf swing is a golf club which looks like it's moving through some nice positions, nice shapes, but the arms are being sort of dragged across the body. The right arm gets a little bit too bent too early, and these golfers lose all of the width that they had in their setup within that first part of the takeaway. So width being the distance that we create between our body and our hands, which is nicely structured at setup, but dragging the arms across the body early on really robs me of that width, and as we turn to the top, these golfers get very, very narrow. And effectively the hands aren't traveling as far as we'd like them in the backswing, so we're really robbing ourselves of the potential power that we could have, but also we just get the arms very much out of sync with the body as well. So a great little exercise there is actually just to be aware of this kind of almost this pushing feeling that you're going to establish at address, where we're keeping some nice structure. My shoulders are nicely controlled, and as I move that golf club away, I'm rotating my body, and I'm still feeling I keep some of that outward pressure early on. Now, I like to see at this first checkpoint here, the right arm just beginning to fold a little bit, so you're going to see a little bit of bend in the arm, but I'm still rotating my upper body, my hips and my knees, and keeping some good structure, and more importantly, some good width in that takeaway. You'll notice how that position, again, looks very different to something like this, where the golf club is, yes, very similar in terms of its relationship to the ball, but not in terms of relationship to my body. So don't always be concerned with what the golf club is doing and what it looks like. We can have the golf club in some really nice positions, but potentially we've lost a lot of the things that we established at our dress with our arms and our body. Third thing that I see causing golfers trouble with the takeaway is just timing and tempo, and actually just snatching that golf club away too quickly. We've got to be careful here because we don't want to be too slow, we don't want to be too quick, and each of you will have potentially your own rhythm that you find that works best for you. But all too often we'll see that golf club snatched away from the golf ball. Now, so as what I said before, positionally that golf club might be working through some nice areas, but if the tempo and the timing aren't great to begin with, it's hard to build those in the golf swing. So if you are that golfer who, snatches the golf club away early, there's often a lot of tension in your your body. There's a lot of pressure through the hands onto the grip. There's often a lot of tension in the arms, and often things don't get off to the best possible start if we don't build that tempo and that rhythm. So what I'd love you to do is almost, feel like almost you have got the weight of the golf club in your hands. Yes, it's resting on the ground, but I've got the weight of the club in my hands, and I want to really sense the weight of that golf club as I'm making my little practice waggles, keeping that club moving. And then I just want to feel like when I'm ready to go, the golf club just rests on the ground, and I make a nice smooth movement away with my body, no snatching movements, nice tempo. That's the best way for me to create that rhythm that I'm looking for in my golf swing. Very, very often I will see amateur golfers hitting bad shots on the golf course, missing greens, poor strikes, not because they've made a technically different swing to maybe what they did in the previous hole, but the tempo changes, the rhythm changes, the timing changes, and that results in an inability to deliver the club how they want to, and obviously that results in the shots that they hit which are less than desirable. So if we can get the golf club moving away from the ball correctly, we can start to get the arms and the body working very much in sync, and we can get the tempo and the timing correct, we're off to a great start to the golf swing. So let's go ahead and see if we can hit one. I don't think I've got the right club to get to this green. I've got a 5-iron here, and I reckon that's over 200 yards, so this is definitely going to go up short. But let's see if we can create those movements. So notice how the golf club is continually moving at this stage, and it's just going to rest on the ground, and I'm going to go. Well, I've hit it well. If it's going to get there, maybe just front left of the green. Certainly a little bit over 200, I think, to that green, so certainly the wrong club there, but I'll take that shot. So takeaway, really important. If you can get those three things out of your golf swing, you're going to play some better golf, you're going to enjoy your golf a bit more, and that's a sure way to lower your scores. Thank you very much for your time and for watching. I hope the video was helpful. Let me know in the comments box, would love to get your feedback. And also, as we said at the start, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and click that link. It is absolutely free. More videos coming like this just to help you play some better golf. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here again soon.